Honestly, I think Jisu just kind of got lucky in his matches. He's just kind of playing for the cheese ball, all-in kind of top lane picks.
He got the heel. Will win. There's no Manameko.
I think just mid laners and AD carries, champions that I can play, are better in 1v1, and it'll show.
He's gotta go. Oh, he's so low. That's 100.
미국에서 진짜 엄청 잘하시는 선수라서 미국에서 거의 가장 인기도 많고 가장 어려운 상대 같아요, 제 생각에.
I guess I only have 2 more matches to go, and I have a lot more space in my closet for another trophy, so yeah, I'm here to win.
我觉得在我们这组最强 solo 的选手应该就是 Pre 了，因为在去年的时候我有看过他打 solo， 就是实力还是非常强的。
제가 항상 우지 선수는 잘한다고 생각하는 선수이기 때문에 1대1 작년 챔피언이기도 하고 해서
Who's gonna hold the wave? There it is. Nothing you can do at that point.
되게 무섭긴 하지만 저도 되게 1등 하고 싶거든요. 그래서 꼭 이겨야 할 상대인 것 같아요.
Hello and welcome back to the Battle Arena, where we're kicking off the 1v1 semifinals. I'm Clayton Captain Flowers Reigns, and joining me is my personal 1v1 coach, Aiden Zyrene Moon. Are you ready for this?
Absolutely. I am definitely ready for these 1v1s.
This is going to be a lot of fun. We've had a lot of awesome performances in this showdown so far over the course of the last 2 days, and they're only going to get better now. For those of you who need a reminder, here are the rules for winning one of these 1v1s. You must be the first player to last hit 100 minions, achieve first blood, or destroy a tower before the opponent does. Once you hit one of those 3 conditions, you win. Now, the 1v1 semifinals, you have to win a best of 3. It's no longer best of 1. It's not just have something that works once, get your win, go on. You got to be able to do the 2 out of 3 in this one. So first up, it's Bjergsen versus Jisu.
And this matchup, pretty much polar opposites in how they've gotten here. Bjergsen, a lot of preparation, definitely thinking about his champions and what he wants to play. He beat Faker to 100 CS using Talia and pretty much no interaction between them. And then Jisu, this guy, Fortuna's been looking down on him, giving him that luck. Bjergsen said it himself. This guy has been going all in king so far. He's won 2 1v1s with less than 100 HP at the end of both of them. He has been going hard.
But he knows how to play it right as well. Even though he got that low in terms of the HP, the first one, it was a turret dive onto the Orianna as Pantheon. The second one, as Olaf, he runs his opponent down, runs behind him to grab the health pack, and then goes back for the kill anyway. This guy has shown he knows how to play his champs, even if Bjergsen was right in what we heard from him just moments ago, in that he thinks mid lane and AD carries are better. Jisu will take his pool into this confidence.
Jisu, I mean, saying somebody's lucky in a video game is usually taboo and you're insulting them, but
yeah.
I feel like this guy has, like, you know, when you're gambling, you're feeling it. You're feeling that luck. Lady Luck is definitely smiling on
Lady Luck is
Jisu.
smiling, yeah. yeah.
But Jisu, those 2 ones that he won with Pantheon and Olaf, the Olaf, I think there was a lot of thought behind it as well. The Ghost and then running through both health relics, so he didn't get caught up in the low HP Olaf just auto-attacking him down, went for the higher percentage chance play. So I feel like this is such a good matchup here to kind of figure out who's going to have that style that prevails. Is it the all-in or is it the methodical CS?
Now, talking about the styles, too, just the mentality of the players going into this, from what we saw from that short little snippet right before this, seems very different as well. Bjergsen, he looks at this like he's got this on lock. I think Jisu was lucky. I think my champion pool is better. I already cleared out the space in my closet. Let's go. He's focused right now. You can see him on your screen, eyes closed, getting in the zone. Eye of the tiger. Jisu, he was talking about how he's got nothing but respect for what he believes is the most difficult opponent that he's going to have to face in this 1v1 tournament, talking about how good of a player, how popular of a player Bjergsen is. I'm really excited to see these 2 go head-to-head.
Yeah, and you saw Bjergsen there. It looked like he was practicing some mindfulness, being conscious of, you know, where you are in space, where you are in time right now, and being kind of in tune with where he's going to be in the game. He's taking this very seriously. The 2015 All-Star 1v1 champion 2 years ago. He wants to reclaim that title, reclaim that crown for himself. And one thing that's kind of been interesting is Bjergsen in his 2 1v1s has used 0 summoner spells. And he's gotten 3 out of the 4 of his opponents. So he's playing on like hard mode right now. He hasn't had to use a single summoner spell to win his last 2.
It's an achievement. It's not just clearing it all and taking the crown. It's clearing it all, taking the crown. Don't use a single summoner spell along the way. You really want to prove a point? Go the extra mile. Do the difficult extra challenge. And that's what Bjergsen might be trying to do here. Who knows? Maybe he
I don't
does
think
want to make
so.
that extra statement. I want to believe that he does. He's keeping that in mind the entire time, just being like, I don't just want to beat Faker. I want to beat Faker without using barrier.
Yeah, and he beat Fofo and Faker, so he's already taken down two guys who are definitely known for their mid lane champion pool, who are definitely known as good mechanical players, and now he's going up against Jisu. Little bit of a different kind of beast here. Jisu, that all-in style, it's not as mechanical, but it's reckless and it's fun.
Well, maybe it will be Reckless. Maybe it'll be Garen versus Garen again. We got to see Reckless do that yesterday. Maybe we'll get to see him do it. Maybe we'll get to see these guys do it today. But like you said, Bjergsen has been taking this pretty seriously, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes as we're into Champion Select. And the bans are going through. Nasus and Jace banned out by Bjergsen. Jisu taking Rise and Syndra off the table. Makes sense pretty much so far.
Yeah, I wonder if Jisu will ban the Talia because Bjergsen had some great success with that, with the fast back timers and just running back to lane constantly against Fake yes, and yeah.
Olaf banned away. Bjergsen doesn't want anything to do with these unorthodox picks that might catch him off guard. Cassiopeia banned out, but that leaves Zoe open. Bjergsen thinking about that, thinking about Heimerdinger. Now, as someone who explicitly plays melee champions, Heimerdinger can be real difficult to deal with when he puts up those turrets, creates such an effective zone of control. If he thinks Jisu's going to play a melee all-in champion, Heimer can be very effective against that, but will go with the Zoe.
The Zoe is less of a CS and try to pick up the wave, but you can do it from a distance. We'll see what happens here because I am really unsure about this because Talia was up. He could have picked it, but it seems like Zoe may be a little bit higher priority for him right here.
And we talked about Bjergsen trying hard and wanting to win here, but Bjergsen is also about the showmanship. He's got the opportunity to play the Zoe. We got to see him play it in the 5v5s on day number 1. He had an awesome performance on it in Summoner's Rift. Let's see what he can do here on the Howling Abyss up against Jisu's Draven with old school Summoner spells. The Silsol special, Draven with Ignite and Heal. If you get that reference, you've been playing League of Legends for a long time.
Yeah, that's way back.
That's all the way thrown back, but he's going to have Heal Ignite on the Draven. He's going up against the Zoe that's got Barrier Exhaust, a very common Summoner spell duo that we've seen throughout the course of this 1v1 bracket. Bjergsen going to be taking the Airy Keystone. Jisu going to be doing the same on this one. So that early, reliable, extra poke every time you connect on the damage.
Yeah, the sorcery tree, definitely, because it gives you adaptive AD, AP, I think it's better to start out with than to have the precision for attack speed. So I like the Airy there. And also something interesting to consider is I wonder if Airy on the W and the Q from Draven gives him the shield from Airy because things like Garen's W will make Airy give him the shield. So I'm excited to see what happens here. They both have resolved secondary. Now we're on the Rift, or I guess the Abyss.
The Abyss. Let's see how these guys decide to play the level 1. I mean, Bjergsen's gonna walk right up to that brush, and Jisu's gonna say, how you doing? Hit him with a couple of axes. 1, 2, 3, right, one after the other. Now, Bjergsen will be able to get back. I mean, they met each other there before the minions spawn. Howling Abyss 1v1 isn't like Howling Abyss ARAM. You are allowed to go back and heal, shop, do whatever. I mean, if you weren't allowed to do anything until you died, it would kind of defeat the purpose, considering you die and you lose. But Bjergsen gets to go back. He'll walk out with the minion wave. No love lost.
Another thing to consider here is their items that they purchased at the start, right? We've seen Longsword 3 potions, but it's Doran's Blade 1 potion for Jisu. He's going to have to control the wave and get a lot of auto attacks off. But another thing here that's interesting is you kind of give away and telegraph where you're going to go is the Draven. So you can just throw the Paddle Star at the little icon.
Yeah, the axe marker. We'll have to see if he can manipulate that properly. You saw Bjergsen try to throw the Paddle Star backwards and catapult it into the melee wave at the very start there and miss a couple of them. So Jisu controlling the wave a little bit better right now.
Yeah, and it takes 1 minion on the second wave to actually hit level 2. So it's going to be level 2 for Jisu, but it looks like he's mostly concerned with farming here.
Yep, not going in just yet.
Oh man, this is going to be so interesting because you could just throw Sleepy Trouble Bubble at the axe and kind of force him to drop one of them.
Yep, you have to be able to play around those bubbles if you are Jisu. We've seen just how effective Zoe can be as long as you're hitting the bubbles. The damage potential you have is huge. Jisu still in a decent enough spot for now, but I also wonder how the itemization is going to go as we go on through this game, because we've seen some different itemization choices so far. Is he just going to go for some armor penetration? Is he going to get a Hex Drinker? There's a lot of choices we could go for.
See, that's the thing is I think we've seen Serrated Dirks when I feel like there should be more Hex Drinkers against mages, so if Jisu is on point, I feel like he would go for less of the style of all-inning like he has before and more for going for the defensive options.
All right, he's 19 farm compared to 16 farm, so up just a little bit in that one. Health relatively high for both players. Here, Max.
Oh,
He's gonna eat a
sleepy
lot of
trouble
damage
bubble.
on that one, though. Drowsy now, falling asleep. Nullifying Orb procs to protect him a little bit, but Bjergsen definitely gets the better of his opponent on that trade. Jisu still farming it up. No fear here. Pops the potion. Bjergsen drinking one of his as well. Jisu still not going to be forced back on this one. Wants to keep farming it up. The Nullifying Orb did do a little bit to protect him, but remember, Nullifying Orb, that rune in the sorcery tree that provides you sort of a mini Hex Drinker effect when you fall low, but the mini in that statement is very, very true. It is not a super strong shield. It's a small mitigation for magic damage, but it did help prevent some of the extra burst from Bjergsen.
Yeah. Right now, oh, it's going to land on a minion there. And we'll see what happens. You can see right there, Spell Thief is going to give Bjergsen something if he kills that minion. You have to last hit it to get the Spell Thief.
Jisu trying to prevent that, but I don't know how effective that'll be. Paddle Star coming in.
Is that Ignite?
Let's see what it dropped. That
It
is
is.
Ignite. Bjergsen grabs an Ignite onto Jisu, drops the Exhaust.
Oh!
Sleepy Trouble Bubble. He's asleep.
And
And the
he is
last
off!
the damage doesn't
Man's
find
not
him.
hot.
Jisu gets out. We were talking about this guy getting away with things by the skin of his teeth. Single-digit HP.
Oh, Bjergsen was even blue healed there. That's the first summoner spell. I guess the second one counting the Ignite that Bjergsen's had to blow. So no more achievement
We
for him.
don't count the Ignite. We don't count the Ignite. That is technically Bjergsen's W. That is not a summoner spell. A real one.
Man, that was so close. Jisu, though, gonna pick himself up a Vamp Scepter. Something to note is they both took the Resolve Tree secondary, but Jisu has Revitalize instead of Second Wind. So it'll give him an overshield after he heals over a certain amount here. So that's why he has the Vamp very early on, so he could add a little bit more HP on top of it. But I do feel like Second Wind is overall a little bit of a better mastery, or I guess a rune to have. Masteries, rest in peace.
Yeah, we can't call them masteries anymore. They're all ruined. They're all reforged. Jisu back to farming up, 37 to 37. This game is close in farm, and that makes it that much more fun to watch because a lot of times you see these games end up at a point where one person has so much of a farm advantage, the other guy's forced into making bad moves. But when the farm stays close, it balances on a knife's edge. Bjergsen looking for some cheeky moves.
He got a
The
heal.
ultimate
He got
here.
the heal.
He had the heal that was used by Jisu earlier. Now able to find the
Drowsy!
Sleepy Trouble bubble yet again. Your Paddle Star finds its mark. Bjergsen looking for maybe a little bit more Paddle Star for the first blood.
A fast Paddle Star, too, right before he gets the health relic that had come back up.
The TSM chants roar through the audience, and Bjergsen goes up 1-0, showing exactly what Zoe can do in the 1v1. The champion, I figured would be a lot of fun to see in these types of showdowns because it is all what can you hit, what can they dodge, and Bjergsen showed he can hit them where they matter.
Man, we were talking about Lady Luck smiling on Jisu. Bjergsen with a few summoner spells from the Spell Thieves to Drowsy into the Paddle Star low cooldown, and gets him with a real fast one there.
Kaboom! Right before he touches the health pack. Stone Cold, too. Not celebratory, not yet. He's only got one down, needs to get the second one, but getting the heal also from Jisu in the previous engagement where he went in with the Ignite that he got from the minion. You get the Ignite from the minion, you go after your opponent, pop his heal, you get his heal, use that in the next fight. The snowball effect, tracing those back to cause and effect of what made it all happen. Bjergsen did what he needed to do, utilizing every part of Zoe's kit there.
Yeah, I do feel like the Zoe is going to end up on that ban list because
Probably so.
before we were thinking maybe the Talia, but it looks like Zoe in those 1v1s, because summoner spells have so much power in them just by nature of being summoner spells and giving you a lot. Spell Thief, taking the other person's summoner spells after they all in you, like that is actually something that's incredibly scary if you think about it. You'll get 2 barriers in an all-in, you might get 2 exhausts, etc.
Or you get an Ignite if they go Still Saw strat. That's
or
what
you
makes
pick
it
one
tough.
up from the minions and get one there.
Yeah, it was really, really difficult, it looked like, for Jisu to be able to deal with Zoe once she got that advantage through the summoner spells. And when she has that, what are you going to do? I mean, we've seen so many of the outcomes of these 1v1s so far be determined by who can manage to bait out the summoners, who can utilize their summoners better, who can make their opponent use them at a spot where they're kind of a dead spell. Bjergsen was able to just have more summoners this time around, and that found him a very swift win.
Yeah, he almost killed him with the Ignite that he got off the Spell Thieves, just went straight in. And then the other thing, too, is like the Draven, probably not a good matchup against the Zoe. Incredibly telegraphed about where he's going to walk, and you just throw your spells at the Draven icon where he's going to be picking up his axes. So I don't think it's ideal at all.
A little bit of a mismatch. I think Jisu was kind of throwing a curveball to begin with because he's like, I'm going to play a range champion now. They're expecting me to play these top laners, some cheesy stuff like Pantheon and Olaf. Nope, I'm going to go with Draven. We're going to play a 1v1 style champion. But then Bjergsen gets Zoe, and Zoe, like you just said, that counter, because you can read where he's going to walk. Even in that last engage, you saw Bjergsen fires the bubble, but he knows that his opponent's going to be kiting backwards. He throws it in a spot where Jisu, the bubble misses. It falls on the ground. Jisu touches the trap part of the bubble, and that's what ends up getting him in some trouble.
I am so excited for this next one, too, because Jisu banned Ryze, Syndra, Cassiopeia. He banned 3 mages. Now you might have to throw the Zoe up there, and Talia is still up, and we saw Bjergsen go for a kind of a CS match there against Faker and have an okay time in that one. So I think there's a lot here. You talked about how many cards do these guys have up their sleeves, because you got to win this best of 3. If you move on to the finals, you got to have even more strategies. And if you have enough that the bans
we have a
can't
water
affect
spill.
You. Yeah, North America, water spills. Sippy cups need to be a 2018 thing.
2018 franchising and sippy cups. That's what we're going to be moving towards.
I mean, it's a bright future. No more of these water breaks. It's happened to Haunter. It's happened to so many people.
Maybe it's a TSM thing.
Maybe. We talk about them slipping up, internationally. Not like that, though. But yes, Bjergsen, kind of the last hope. Speaking of North America, the last hope for North America, last hope for
the last Western player remaining in the 1v1 tournament at this point. Like you said already, he's a previous champion, not from last year. Current reigning champion is Uzi, but he is from 2 years ago in 2015. If he could come back and win that, that'd be pretty cool for him to do.
Yeah, I'm excited because, we'll be nice, right? He's North American now, but Europe can also get on this because, right now it's not, NA versus EU or NA greater than EU or EU greater than NA. It's like, we're equal right now, guys. Let's just all get behind Bjergsen if you want a Western player to advance and still have a part of this tournament. That's kind of where, a lot of people are at right now. But let's see, number 2.
The music starts, champion select begins. Let's see how they want to play this one out, as the first ban from Jisu is the Zoe. Not willing to play against that one for the second time in a row. Syndra also going to be banned away. He knows this is one of Bjergsen's signature champs. Same with the Ryze. Bjergsen's ban is going to remain the same as in game number 1 so far. Let's see if he'll finish that one off with the Olaf. He will. All 3 bans copied exactly for Bjergsen. 2 out of 3 for Jisu, with the 3rd being changed to that Zoe. Bjergsen locking in Talia near instantly. Jisu thinking about the Pantheon.
This is really fast in terms of the bans. I've been watching a lot of 1v1s, the ones from before, and people take their sweet time. They talk to each other. Very little talking here. This is all business right now. And Bjergsen and Jisu with the fast bans, and Jisu thinking about what he wants to do.
Unbench the Kench. Jisu going to be rocking one of those melee-style champions, one of those types of things that Bjergsen specifically brought up, saying, I think my pool, I think my play style is better suited to this than his, and I'll be able to show that.
What is the keystone going to be? What is the rune going to be that he's running? We talk about some phase rush Tom Kench. Eat him, run him into the turret.
And spit him out. You and I tested this.
It's
I remember
so fun.
testing this with you a couple of weeks ago about how far can Tom Kench actually run out, use phase rush, gobble you up, and still get you back under the turret in time.
Yeah, I feel like you need Swifty boots to do it, though, and about level 6, since phase rush, I believe, scales with your level in terms of the movement speed that it gives you. So we'll see what he's running, though, but I'm so excited for this. The first Tom Kench, the 1v1.
All right, let's see what he's
Yeah!
doing. It's phase rush with Ghost. So he's ready. He is ready to make this happen. If he wins, he's going to win by gobbling Bjergsen up and spitting him underneath the turret. And if he can make that happen, it is going to be so cool to see. But we did see Bjergsen control these waves against Faker with this champion. We saw him play this game against someone playing Syndra, against a very mechanically talented player playing Syndra. So up against something like Tom Kench, he's got his work cut out for him.
And the Tom Kench has boots. He has the Ghost. He has the heal. This is go fast Tom Kench.
Okay,
this is special delivery sushi chef, master chef Tom Kench.
Let's see if he can drift around and find his way towards Bjergsen, get those stacks down and find the Devour. Bjergsen, though, the one who should be in control with the push, with the wave control early. Like I said, Jisu's the one with that work cut out for him in this. Just because of the fact that, you're Tom Kench into Talia.
Yeah.
Your tongue is stopped by minions. You don't have a lot of long-range capability to engage on this champion that is so adept at keeping herself far away.
Yeah, I feel as though this is going to come down to Bjergsen just skirting around, keeping his range and killing all of the minions. going back and not even like pushing him up to the turret to deal turret damage because he doesn't want to risk it. We'll see here how they start this off.
All right, threaded volley into the wave, as can be expected. Also worth pointing out that it is airy once again on Bjergsen's Talia. Just wants to make sure that every time he lands the poke, it's that much more effective. So not really anything too surprising coming out of him just yet. Jisu, mindful of how the minion farming works underneath the turret, not able to find that last one. 6-2-3 right now. So Bjergsen is in the spot that you're going to see him in for most of the game. I think if Jisu is able to find his all-in, it's going to be a case of sort of what you were describing earlier, where he kind of gets to level 6, he gets swiftness boots, and then he goes for the all-in then. The early game isn't going to be fun for this Kench.
Yeah, Bjergsen was talking about the cheese ball strategies. I mean, this is one that he's cooked up here. Jisu will see if he's able to actually execute on it, because I feel like it's one that the condition is pretty narrow. The enemy, if they're thinking about your win condition, they might be able to avoid it completely. Now, Bjergsen's going to back and use Talia passive, where he just runs against walls and structures and gets back very quickly without missing much in terms of CS.
Because he knows the cannon waves underneath the enemy turret, it's going to take that much more time for it to clear out. He's got enough time to get back to the wave without missing much at all.
Yep.
Another Dorian's ring picked up, more potions picked up. He's in the spot he wants to be.
Yeah, and let's talk about his runes right here, because he has Biscuit Delivery and he has Futures Market. So Bjergsen, taking the advice of kind of Azale yesterday, talking about how good Futures Market is, and you can buy so many potions, and he's done that for himself right now.
Getting those extra potions early on. Remember, this is a 1 versus 1 that's played, from level 1. You only have the money at the start. This isn't ARAM rules where you're starting off really far ahead and you've got 1,300 gold to spend as soon as you load into the game.
Yeah, no level 3 start.
Right, so you have to play around the same type of things you would play around if you were laning early on in Summoner's Rift. And having an extra 200 gold to spend at the start through Futures Market can be huge. The amount of potions, some players might remember the good old times of 9 potion start, which, by the way, was not actually good. It was not fun to play against because the person had so much sustain in lane.
Red pot, though, plus
Red
potions
pot
was
plus
fun.
potions. That was pretty silly. That was also a pretty time. Bjergsen will continue to push the waves out, continue to control the pace of this game.
And so I went back and I looked. Bjergsen actually missed 0 creeps when he went back and ran all the way. None of his minions had died. Look at that, Jisu. First item, Swifty Boots. I want that special delivery to come through.
He wants it too, but he can't get anywhere near Bjergsen right now. He just keeps this wave pushed up. He throws down all these rocks all over the place, every single wave. What's a Kench got to do?
And here's the thing, though, is he has to kind of only do this one time. He gets one moment, one opportunity to make this happen, because as soon as Bjergsen sees it once, you're not going to have the summoner spells or the time because of the CS to actually execute it again. So Jisu would have to do it one time, and I think he's waiting for phase rush levels to get to like 6 or 7, so he has all that movement speed.
You get to 6, you ult behind them, and you go. That's the only shot you pretty much got. If you're the Tahm Kench in this one, I want to see it work. I really do, but at the same time, you also got to remember, Bjergsen has Exhaust, he has Barrier. It's not as simple as gobble him up, spit him out, and he dies.
I mean, you'll have boots and you'll have phase rush. You're going to reduce the slow of the exhaust, and it wouldn't really matter too much. He's still going to be super speed Tahm Kench. I honestly hope that Jisu's able to pull this off.
Well, Bjergsen's already up to 46 CS. He keeps going back pretty consistently to get more and more. Biscuits in his inventory, like you mentioned earlier, means he's going to have even more mana as he continues to lane through this.
Yeah, if I'm Jisu, he's ulting
here he goes.
behind him. He has the
Jisu
ghost
decided
on.
to make the play. He pops the ghost already. Now looking to chase Bjergsen down, doesn't find the tongue, and that could be the thing that separates this from being successful or not.
It's gone.
He's
He's
going to
not
carry
gonna
him
get it back,
backwards. Can't get him all the way back to the turret, but he does bring him back far enough to continue to apply the damage. Exhaust going to be used. Jisu still has thick skin, looking to find
comes
the
the tongue.
The tongue comes out. Not quite making its way just yet. There's your stun barrier. Still going to be used. Jisu can't do it. First blood to Bjergsen. And that ends this 1v1.
The 2-0 for Bjergsen. The seismic shove on the Tahm Kench ultimate, the Abyssal Voyage location, pushes Jisu back and makes him lose enough distance that Bjergsen isn't pulled back into a turret.
The first Q from Tahm Kench also misses in that, and the difference in health could have been what decides the outcome there. So incredibly close as you look at how Jisu tried to make it happen.
Yeah, he was waiting for the level 6 for the Abyssal Voyage to get behind Bjergsen, but Bjergsen sees it coming. The seismic shove was perfect, and like you said, the first one missing. The exhaust here after the phase rush was over, and then the juke back. This comes down to 100 HP again under the turret. The W comes off cooldown now. Oh, so low for Bjergsen.
So incredibly close. You can see the smile on Bjergsen's face as he realizes he will be going to the finals tomorrow. Jisu's run ends here.
And the desk was saying it, just the style that Bjergsen has been playing in terms of methodical, thinking ahead of the game, like what is he really going to do with a low risk type champion or strategy, and that forced Jisu's hand to pick something that's going to be aggressive, high risk, could potentially work out for you, but we saw the outplay there. That's Bjergsen moving on to the finals to reclaim the 1v1 championship title.
Looking to get back to where he was in 2015, being at the top of the 1v1 ladder, but we still have one more opponent for him to go through, and that opponent is who we're going to be seeing in the next matchup. This one should be a lot of fun as well.